Now to be convened July meeting of the Finance Committee of the MTA Board. David, are there any public speakers?
Good afternoon. There are 7 public speakers today. We ask that all public speakers adhere to the MTA's rules of conduct and decorum. In the interest of time and fairness to all speakers, we limit everyone to 2 minutes. There will be a warning beep to remind you there are 30 seconds remaining to conclude your remarks. Our first speaker is Brian Fritsch, who will be followed by Joseph Morales.
Brian, if you'll just hold on one sec, I just want to say a couple of things, which I was remiss in the opening. Three very momentous moments, I think, in this board meeting. One, this is the first board meeting as the entirely full, not co-CFO for Jay Patel. I believe you're also the first woman CFO of the MTA, so we're very proud of you. We know you've been pulling strings behind Kevin's robotic behavior for some time. So, yeah, not fully. He's a senior advisor to us at the MTA here.
He will be here on Wednesday at the full board meeting.
Okay, that's one. The second is we have Melva and Midori joining us as potential their tryouts. I think they'd like to join the committee. We're not sure if they're going to join. If it goes well, maybe they'll come back. As Rodney Dangerfield once said, if the roast beef is right, they'll be back. So we'll see how it goes. I don't know why that was an ooh, but anyway, we're excited to have you. And then thirdly, we are fortunate to have the mayor of Beacon joining us today. Mayor Kiriakou is joining us. He'll make a couple of comments in a little bit. We have a really exciting transit-oriented development to vote on a little bit, and kind of him to come down and share some thoughts about that. So, Brian, thank you for indulging me, and the floor is yours, sir.
Good afternoon. I'm Brian Fritsch, Associate Director for the Permanent Citizens Advisory Committee to the MTA PCAC. PCAC is proud to celebrate the progress of the staff and leadership in maintaining the agency's firm financial footing, reducing the deficit considerably in the years to come, decreasing fare evasion, and keeping the agency's debt load to 15% are big steps in the right direction, worthy of applause. We know C&D and the strategic initiative teams have been working hard to reduce costs while being more productive on both the capital and operating sides of the agencies, all while continuing to put the needs of riders first. It's not lost on anyone following the agency closely that the July financial plan is an important marker of how well the agency has navigated many turbulent years that have taken a huge toll on transit agencies around the country. We don't have to look far to see how much worse it could have been. New Jersey Transit's 15% fare increase, or as we learned this morning, a 10% increase on Connecticut riders on the New Haven line, or worse still, SEPTA's proposed 21.5% fare increase and an absolutely crippling 45% service cut. Averting the fiscal cliff, implementing congestion pricing, and fully funding the 25 to 29 capital plan in short succession is a massive achievement, and we owe Governor Hochul, New York's federal delegation, and the state legislature a huge debt of gratitude for helping the agency overcome these tall hurdles. Serious challenges remain, however, such as finding $3 billion in savings for the 25 to 29 plan, fighting for federal dollars while anticipating the potential worst from federal cuts, and keeping operating costs low as we approach the biennial fare increase and pre-pandemic ridership levels. We look forward to continuing to think creatively and strategically about how best to support the riders struggling in the current affordability crisis while keeping the agency firmly in the black. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Joseph Morales, who will be followed by Maddie Bucky's Highland.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Joseph Morales. I'm a rising sophomore civil engineering major at Manhattan University. I've noticed in the committee book we have a very big emphasis on paid ridership data, and not to be political at all here, but with the next New York City mayor potentially likely to push for free buses, we should aim to see what level of funding we would need from the city and how much of the system could be made free with different levels of funding using our data. And we should also consider data points that will reflect city funding should that policy be implemented. And given how much we talk about, fares and funding at this committee, I don't see the idea being feasible. And we should also be wary of volatile funding sources, such as a millionaire's tax that would rely on no matter how you think about the ethics or anything of that policy, a small group of people to fund such a major policy. And when you talk about mass transit, what happens if the funding gets pulled away? Our last speaker mentioned several transit agencies. We would not want to see that happen with us. And why I bring that up at this committee meeting, simply put, the way we compile our data here, that might need to change. Lastly, we should consider eliminating the peer-to-peer car sharing trip tax. I saw in the committee book, it doesn't appear that we get so much funding out of that. And considering all the hurdles that taxi and rideshare drivers face in New York City on a daily basis, I think we should explore eliminating something that doesn't really help us that much here, or at least doesn't appear to. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Maddie Bucky's Highland remotely, and followed by Charlton D'Souza.
Thanks, David, and good afternoon, everybody. My name is Matty Bucky's Highland, and I'm an advocate for people with developmental disabilities for the suburbs of Long Island. First, I do want to congratulate Jabila J. Patel on becoming the new CFO, as Kevin Willens is taking a semi-retirement. Although I do miss Bob Ferran with his Southern accent. But anyway, that's for another time. What I would like to say is we have to consider finances, because finances are numbers, right? And numbers, they can describe a lot of things. But however, the Connecticut Department of Transportation, under the leadership of Commissioner Garrett Eccolito, is proposing a fare increase for New Haven, along with Governor Ned Lamont. So that could be a little bit stressful. That's why I think, in my opinion, we need someone from Connecticut as a non-voting member to represent the board on different matters. So with that, and I'm curious to see what Patel will say in the July financial plan, as we're halfway done with our budget. So with that being said, everybody, and ladies and gents, please have a great summer, and we'll look forward to seeing you in September. Thank you, David.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Charlton D'Souza, who will be followed by Jason Anthony.
Good afternoon, everyone. Charlton D'Souza, President of Passengers United. I do want to point out the new financial CEO, is also South Asian. So congratulations to Mrs. Patel. We're very proud of you, all of us in South Asian community. And I also want to point out that, I know the August fare increase was kind of postponed, but you'll need to start talking about having a 1-day unlimited for Omni, and a 7-day Express Bus Plus for Omni, and a 30-day unlimited for Omni. A lot of our members are asking about this, and that needs to be done. As far as the promotional transfers that you guys passed, I believe it was last month or the month before, for the Queens Bus redesign, nobody knows about it. You guys are not advertising it. Nobody's talking about it. The bus drivers don't even know about it. That is part of the problem why there was so much confusion when the Queens Bus redesign took the first day, because people were arguing with the bus drivers, asking the bus drivers for an extra transfer. All of this could have been avoided if the MTA had just, on the MTA bus time app, if y'all can just put that alert there, or on the in-transit app, that if you use Omni, you use 3 buses, or Subway, I'm hoping, that you're valid for the transfer. Otherwise, also the city ticket needs to be looked at, a combination Omni city ticket for the fare increase that's going to take place. We hope there's no fare increase, but if there is, that should be it, and a city ticket should remain at $5. That's what we're calling for. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Jason Anthony, who will be followed by Christopher Greif.
Hey, Neil. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Jay. Congratulations for your permanent nomination. We hope that we could continue working together like we always do, and the rest of the board members. Jason Anthony, the transit guru. Let's start off with a couple of facts, shall we? let's come with a news flash, shall we? Regarding the claims that a participant did, we have seen in some Omni machines that yes, the 30-day unlimited pass of the Omni card is there, but the pricing is a bit off. But we are going to do some discussing internally with Shanifa Riera and her team that the pricing of the current Metro card and the Omni card is a bit off by a couple of dollars. So we're going to do discussion regarding the pricing. And the other claim that the other person did is that the city ticket is $5 during off-peak hours, but $7 during the rush hours. And I want to agree with the comments that the chairman did earlier this morning during the joint committee rails regarding the fare hikes that Connecticut DOT did. Yes, Neil, I totally agree with the comments that the fare hikes that Connecticut DOT is going to announce in September, yes, it is unfair for those riders on Metro North take to Connecticut. So I'll see you in September.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Christopher Greif, who will be followed by the Honorable Lee Kirikow.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Christopher D. Greif. Happy ADA 35 Disability Pride Month. I agree with you, Neil, 100%, because when they had their public hearings, they didn't have it accessible. When we do public hearings in MTA, they do it. And when we do those public hearings, they break it down. Accessibility is shown because it helps the Social Security low income. I have not understand why is Connecticut doesn't understand that fund their transit system, which I do travel on that train because my friend, and there's casinos, goes out there. But here's the thing. Your trains are overcrowded, which is good. There are more seniors and disabled. And yes, there's a lot of service animals out there. So my question is to Connecticut DOT. Why do you need a little more money if those trains are our trains? You should be worrying about checking your fare invading and work with MTA police and work with us together. Because last time I checked, we're in the 21st century. Any public hearings they do should be ADA accessible to enter the building. When MTA does theirs, they tell you where the entrances are. Last time I checked, there were signages they put up. Connecticut DOT, this is a message for you. I do not ever want to hear the word fare hike or cuts because those trains are very crowded, and there are times even my mother, who uses a walker, cannot get on sometimes, or they have to move customers to a different procedure area. There is strollers there. There are things there for a reason. Rules are there, but fare hiking, you need to do better because fare hiking right now is not a solution. You have your customers on those trains overcrowded. Thank you.
Thank you. Our final speaker is the Honorable Lee Kirikow, the Mayor of the City of Beacon.
Thank you, Neil, and the committee for the opportunity to speak on the TOD proposal at the Beacon Station. I am Lee Kirikow, serving my 6th year as Mayor of the City of Beacon after 18 years as a City Council member, first elected in 1993. I helped reset the vision, zoning, and direction for our small city, which has gone from a tired factory town with much of its Main Street boarded up to the vibrant community that it is today, including a pro-housing community and a climate-smart community. I also commuted to New York City for more than 30 years, working in banking and consulting, so I'm a very satisfied Metro North customer. I view as win-win-win a successful TOD project at the Beacon Station for the city, the MTA, and the surrounding region. While, of course, it will need to be successfully navigating through the city's planning process, but at least as described, the project would remove impermeable blacktop, replace it with housing shops and waterfront activity, provide 200-plus units of environmentally sustainable housing, conform to Beacon's zoning and other regulations, including 10% affordable workforce housing and Beacon's all-electric requirement, bring additional residents and visitors essential to Main Street's sustainability, contribute revenue to the city, to limit property tax increases and fund quality of life improvements, and help activate our station area beyond simply being a commuter connection. I want to specifically thank Governor Hochul for her commitment to build housing in New York, as demonstrated by the $25 million in New York State rush funding that will pay for a parking structure at the station. This is the way that we work together to address housing shortage in our region. Our train station is adjacent to key components of our community. Dia Beacon, probably the single biggest catalyst in Beacon's renaissance. Our Hudson River docks that the city is looking to fully restore, and the starting point of our river trail to Dennings Point and Madam Brett Parks. The station will also be the terminus of the Hudson Highlands Fjord Trail from Cold Spring to Beacon, which our community strongly supports. And most importantly, with the MTA's help, the Beacon station will be the starting point of the Beacon-Hopewell Rail Trail on the MTA's rail-banked Beacon Spur, running directly alongside our Main Street and linking to the 750-mile Empire State Trail system. Dutchess County's feasibility study is almost complete, and we look forward to working with the MTA to enable the funding and construction for this transformative project. Finally, I note that the city is much more stable and prepared compared to the time of an initial TOD proposal almost 2 decades ago. Our Main Street is booming. We've extended Main Street-style zoning down to the waterfront, and our waterfront zoning is well-defined and consistent with our comprehensive plan goals of targeted increased density, of sustainable development, of housing, a housing mix that includes affordability and an accessible waterfront. I look forward to sharing full public details of the TOD proposal with our community, to community input to the review process, and to working with the MTA on this TOD project, our rail trail, and more. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That concludes the public speaking section.
Thank you, David, and thank you, Mr. Mayor, for coming out, as well as our other public speakers. TOD is obviously one of the great opportunities for the MTA has to support several important initiatives in the state, both economic growth as well as affordable housing, and so we're excited to talk about it in a short period of time. But first, the most perfunctory of things, may I have a motion to approve the June committee meeting minutes, please? Thank you, Sammy. Second. Thank you, Mark. Any additions, corrections, deletions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion passes. David, the financial performance report, please.
Thank you. Preliminary year-to-date results are through June and compared to the adopted budget. Overall net operating results were $371 million favorable, 38% due to favorable operating subsidy results. Operating subsidies were $140 million favorable, reflecting favorable results for the payroll mobility tax, the urban tax, mortgage recording tax, petroleum business tax, MTA aid, and automated camera enforcement, while for higher vehicle surcharges were unfavorable. There was also timing-related variances for local operating assistance, station maintenance, and CDOT subsidy to Metro North, which would have resulted in an additional net favorable impact of $49 million more. Paid ridership on an MTA consolidated basis was favorable. All agencies were favorable except for transit bus, which was unfavorable by only 0.2%. B&T traffic was favorable both for June and year-to-date. Farebox revenue was $49 million favorable, while toll revenue was $4 million favorable. Operating expenses were $56 million, or 1% favorable. Labor was $14 million favorable, and non-labor expenses were $26 million favorable. Debt service expense was $33 million favorable. Capital subsidies were $57 million favorable, mostly from the CBDTP of $20 million and the real estate transfer tax of $37 million. And there are more details in the financial performance report.
Thank you, David. Questions for David? I'll ask one, David. The subway number is up 9% this month. It's a significant variance. I usually look for anything over 5%. I'll ask a question. What's going on? And maybe you covered it in city transit meeting that I am not on that committee.
I think it's continued strength of the local economy. It's better fare evasion enforcement. I think there's more discretionary ridership as well. Jay, did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, I do. Thanks, David. I think a couple things that David mentioned is that we have seen a stronger fare evasion rate come down. Most of us know we've brought down subway fare evasion by 30% year over year, and that's impacting fare box revenue on the subways. But also a tiny piece was it just a miss on May and June accruals. So May, if I don't like to remind people, but we did have a small little Omni issue, and so some of that revenue was not recorded in May. That was recorded in June, so a little bit of that percentage change has to do with that piece.
Both incredibly talented and preternaturally honest. So thank you for that. We appreciate that in your leadership. Thank you. All right, and hearing no more questions, and I think we have nothing from Olga this month. Is that correct, Olga? Okay, well, no debt is good debt, I guess, as they say. And then on to our favorite topic, although becoming a little more routine every month, is hearing about congestion pricing. Jay.
Thanks. Before I get to congestion pricing, I want to thank everyone on the board for their support as I be transitioned to CFO full-time, and Kevin's leadership in this organization. So I will go into a little bit of what David said and then go into congestion pricing. I think most of you will know when we do July financial plan update at Wednesday's board meeting, we will incorporate what we're seeing in these 6-month results, as well as any future trends that we think will happen as they continue for some of these increases that we're seeing strong ridership on the commuter rails, we're seeing strong pickup on fare evasion on the subways, and any expense changes. You heard from the presidents earlier at the committee meetings that they are meeting their operating efficiencies. We are grateful on the budget side that the agencies are meeting the $500 million that is reduced from the budget on the efficiencies, but also in addition to meeting that, you heard from David, we're about $55 million positive, favorable on expenses year to date as well. Some of that is timing, but it is really about management of our expenses. So we're happy to talk about that and more to come on Wednesday for that. On congestion pricing, as many of you probably have read, we have 6 months of congestion pricing data as well as revenue. An average of 70,000 fewer vehicles have traveled in the zone every day since the toll went into effect. That's an 11% reduction. Congestion pricing isn't just good for Manhattan, it's a positive impact on traffic outside as well. According to Waze data, traffic delays are down in the congestion relief zone by 25% and across the metropolitan region by 9%. Buses are moving faster in the CRZ, and transit ridership is up on all modes, as you all know. And more importantly, streets are safer, with crashes in the zone down about 14%. The program has generated a net of $268.5 million. That's total revenue year to date was about $335 million, and expenses were about $66 million to get you to the 268. So as 6 months of data, we seem to be very on track to hit the $500 million of net revenue that is projected for the program.
Good news. Questions for Jay on congestion pricing? Hearing none, I'm going to just, it's interesting. I think when this was first floated to this board, when I joined this board 11 years ago, I distinctly remember that the car reduction was on an estimated basis with no facts was going to be 12%. So that we are amazing. I just remember the number. Polly Trottenberg sat me down and showed it to me, and I said, that's amazing, and it's right on target, so amazing. All right, excellent. Thank you very much. Let's hand over to Lizette then, please, for all agency and headquarters procurements.
There are 2 MTA headquarter items for this month for Finance Committee approval in the estimated amount of $7.3 million, and these actions are found in the committee book. The first item is a request that the board approve the award of competitively negotiated service contract to Enstoa, Inc. for implementation and integration of a project management information system, or PMIS, for MTA construction and development. And included in that contract is an option for a 1-year extension. Currently, C&D operates multiple legacy systems to manage capital program initiatives, and these systems include enterprise resource planning, document management, scheduling, and geographic information system platforms. Operating these various systems has resulted in inefficient processes, increased manual data handling and human errors, and limited reporting capabilities. An implementation of a robust PMIS is a critical tool to leverage data and enabled informed decision-making to improve overall collaboration and operational efficiencies to enhance construction and project delivery performance. An RFP was issued in April of 2025. 6 firms submitted proposals, and the selection committee unanimously determined that Instoa was the most technically qualified to perform the work required to develop, implement, and integrate the PMIS. Instoa demonstrated its robust technical expertise and prior experience with similar PMIS implementations throughout its innovative methodologies tailored to the needs of the client. Implementation and integration services of PMIS is expected to take place over an 18-month period. Payments will be made based on specific milestones and deliverables established in the contract. A 1-year option is reserved in the event that post-implementation support and additional training or functionality enhancements are needed. The value of the base contract is estimated at $6.1 million, and the 1-year option is priced at $1.2 for an overall estimated amount of $7.3 million. The second and final item is a request for board approval for the MTA on behalf of itself and its affiliates to enter into retainer agreements with the attorneys and law firms to provide tort litigation services at rates specified in the individual retainer agreements. There is no set contract term for this contract. The current panel was approved by the board in 2003. Therefore, it's necessary to establish a new panel. Retainer services provided by the new panel will be on an as-needed basis. Rates are fixed for 3 years and may increase thereafter as reasonable and appropriate in the determination of the MTA General Counsel. The RFP divided tort litigation services into 2 groups: 1, pre-trial and trial matters, 2, appellate matters. Each participating firm indicated whether it was proposing to perform one or both groups of services. Retainers for legal services will indicate which group or groups and categories of services are covered by the retainer. A total of 67 attorneys and law firms were selected, including 9 MWBE certified firms.
Thank you very much, Lizette. Given these are 2 heterogeneous requests, any questions on first and STOA, project management system? Secondly, any questions on the retainer agreements for the law firms? 67 law firms, right? Is that what?
Yes, attorneys and firms.
That's a lot of law firms. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, please, go ahead, please, Midori.
Thank you. So, law firms, that means that you can select any on the list, or there's like a mini bid process for the retainer law firms?
I think that the
Sorry.
page is going to answer that one.
We can select any on the list.
Okay, great.
It's based on the 2 categories that Lisette had indicated: pretrial, trial, and appellate.
Great, thank you. I want to note that you said that there were 9 MWBE firms. I know that was a big point of focus for our Chief Diversity Officer. It's good to hear 9, but just wondering how long is this like set for? Because I'd love an opportunity for us to like increase that number given all of the investment that people made in outreach.
So as you know, the initial one was established in 2003, so
Yes.
it's not something that we do often. But I think that, I don't think we want to wait till another,
20 some
plus
years.
to-
Okay, yeah. It would be great to learn a little bit about how we continue to increase MWB participation in this field. I know that like legal and auditing, or maybe it was accounting firms, was a point of focus for MWB. So thank you.
Okay, other questions? Hearing none, may I have a motion for these 2 procurements? Thank you, Mark. Second, thank you, Hada. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstention, motion passes. David, non-procurement information items.
First item is a Transit Adjudication Bureau report for 2024 and the first half of 2025. TAB serves as a statutory administrative tribunal responsible for receiving, processing, adjudicating, and pursuing the collection of civil penalties resulting from civil summons for violations of the transit and MTA bus rules of conduct. The report presents TAB performance metrics and provides key indications. General Counsel Paige Graves and David Farber from the General Counsel's Office are here if there are any committee questions.
Any questions on Transit Adjudication Bureau? David Jones, sir.
This is not quite related, but I've asked, I guess for years, to get a breakdown of the stations where there were stops and arrests, and I've never gotten it. It's like we don't know. The reason I asked this, I guess, as long as I've been on as long as Neil, there was some indications in the early years that there was targeting of certain neighborhoods, particularly black and brown neighborhoods, to the exclusion of other parts of the city. I would like to know that information.
Is that in this report that's available, David? Do you know if that data is in there?
I don't know that it would come from David and from Paige.
That data is not in the report. The report is just a total of the summons issued by a year annually. So, David, we'll take that back and look into whether we can, and we'll get you a response.
Still a cause of concern? Yeah, no, I'm sure it's all over the place now. Much better than it was, certainly when I was first on the board, where it was almost exclusively in my former neighborhood in Bed-Stuy and Crown Heights, and parts of Harlem or Brownsville. So I know we've changed a lot, but I'd still like to know how it's going about it.
Great, thank you, Jay. Hayden, did you have a question?
Yes, so I'm sorry, so can you just, is this the first time we're dealing with this? Okay.
So previously, this report was reported at New York City Transit Committee. We've moved it to Finance as it's a report. It was, but we've moved it to Finance starting this year just because it's a standard report that has to do with summonses and collections. So we thought it would fit better in Finance than New York City Transit.
Great. Other questions on the TAB report? Hearing none. David, continue, please.
The second item is the quarterly interim financial statements for the 3-month period ending March 31, 2025. MTA Controller Jim McGovern is available if there are any questions.
Thank you. All right, Lizette, you have the controls on the information items and the other procurements, please.
Sure. The first item, there are 2 information items for bridges and tunnels as follows. The first item is a request that the board approve the modification of a contract to provide barrier transfer services needed for HOV bus lane operation at the Verrazano Narrows Bridge, awarded to Triumph Construction Corp. In order to extend the contract term 1 year, add funding, and adjust the as-needed scope of work. The second item is a request that the board formally ratify the declaration of an immediate operating need and approve the ratification of a modification to a contract with TransCore LP for all-electric open road tolling in order to implement an automated revenue recovery system.
Okay, thank you. I assume these were covered in bridges and tunnels today? Okay. Was there any commentary from that committee? Were they passed to the full board? Okay. Okay. Any question? No. Any questions? All right. Hearing none. Your consolidated reports are in the book, and then the penultimate activity is Mr. Florio. Sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Transit-oriented development has one administrative action item and one transactional item. Real estate has 2 transactional action items for consideration and approval. The first is an administrative item for the MTA, and it is the determination and findings for the public hearing on acquisition of property for the Second Avenue Subway project. The second is a transactional item for MTA Metro North and includes a lease with Rose Companies for the development of the Beacon Station and commuter parking lot. And Robert Reichenstein, Vice President of Transit-Oriented Development, is here to present on both.
Good afternoon, everyone. The first one is an approval of determination and findings for the acquisition of property via eminent domain for 124 West 125th Street. This is associated for Second Avenue Subway Phase 2. In April 2025, the board approved the acquisition of this property by negotiation or by condemnation, if necessary. As part of the eminent domain process, the MTA held a public hearing on June 17th. We received comments. The comments have been given careful, extensive, and due consideration. And as a result, we are looking for board approval for the attached determination and findings.
Well, why don't we take that first? So can I have a motion for the determination and finding for the public hearing, please? Thank you, Sam. Second. Thank you, Mark. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstention. Motion passes, sir.
Okay. Item number 2, I think all my thunder has been stolen by the mayor. Okay. I will add there is a fourth win on this, but let me give a quick overview of what's taking place here. This involves property on the north end of the Beacon parking lot, about 4.5 acres. As part of this process, we will be receiving a cash flow stream annual rent that will be between $16.5 and $17.5 million as a total cash flow. There's more to that. Okay, sorry. There's no less than 265 units of housing that will be generated. The final numbers will come out of the design process that the city will, be leading the charge from a review perspective. There's station improvements, so the look and feel at the station is going to improve. Well, we'll show you some renderings in a second that will give you an overview of that. And the fourth win is we are getting a replacement parking paid for by the developer that will replace about 573 parking spaces on a one-for-one parking basis. I'll point out the mayor mentioned rush funding from the governor. So this, again, that the RUSH stands for the Redevelopment of Underutilized Sites for Housing. Without this grant by the governor, it is very, very difficult to do TODs in the suburban station. It's very expensive to replace that. So this was the reason it happened. So, kudos for the governor and their team on that. The process, pretty robust, 8 proposals. We went through a process. We had 2 best and final offers. At the end of the process, we selected the Jonathan Rose Companies as the proposed conditional developer. We're specifically seeking conditional designation of the Jonathan Rose Companies, and second, we're asking for authorization to execute a pre-lease agreement. It's kind of like a contract of sale, but for a lease. And then after the developer goes through the design and the secret of the state environmental review process, we will come back to the board for a second action, basically adopting the secret findings and then approving the MTA to execute the documentation. There are some pictures up, if we can put them up, and I will try to take you through them. These are some renderings. Can folks see this? This is not what's going to be built exactly. Okay, no, hold on. We have to say this is renderings. We expect to get this, but after the process that we go through, it should look like this. Again, it has to be designed. It has to be approved by the city. But if you could see, good. I'm sorry. Was there a question? Keep going. Okay, keep going.
Is that the parking structure? That's the parking structure.
Hold on. See if I can go backwards. At the bottom. Okay. Yeah. Just to orient everyone, this is facing kind of northeast. So you've got the Hudson River on the left side, okay? You've got the hill that goes up to the main part of the city of Beacon. The station is actually at the bottom right corner. So this is what we call the north lot. There's a center lot, and there's also a south lot. So the concept here is we're taking surface parking, which is basically that entire area, and replacing it with a multi-story parking structure built by developer. The residential, that will be built first, then there'll be residential housing that will be to the north. This is probably a little bit closer. I just point out, what I get excited about is the interface with the station, which is again bottom kind of left off the picture here. So there's going to be a plaza, there's going to be some retail. It's going to be a whole lot better than what we got right now. Again, this is another rendering of the same plaza area. Again, hope as it looks, if not similar, but better. And again, another rendering. I think that is it. Okay, this is, I'm sorry, site overview. Again, you can see the Pete Seeger Park on the north, which extends into the Hudson River. And then you've got on the bottom right is, a wooded area. There's actually some development. It's on a ridge.
Thank you. Questions? Sammy?
What was the amount of the rush funding committed to the project?
Round numbers, about $24 million.
So I just want to, this is really exciting because, so just think about that. This is a $24 million public investment to help the capex of this project, and now we're getting $16 to $17 million back annually, and you're creating much needed housing, and you're going to create a beautiful sense of space and a great place to live. And kudos to the mayor for getting something approved. That's wonderful. I think
Change the zoning. I mean, that.
Yeah.
We went through this once before without success. It's all about the community support here.
Which, and the island that Mark and I live on is akin to, Mark, he's an expert in the Bible. It's easier to split the sea than it is to change zoning. So I think it's wonderful. I mean, I would say, 10% affordable would be nice to have a higher percentage. But I mean, this is a great success story. I remember when we were talking about this, a couple years ago, to see a project actually, and I hope that other mayors and supervisors and municipal leaders are paying attention to this. We need one of those nice special videos that we make to let everyone know that, hey, this is public investment, $24 million, and then you're getting 16 to 17 million back per year. That's great math.
Just if I could make a clarification on the revenue stream. Revenue stream's about 700,000, just under 700,000 per year.
Why are you reading my good story?
I know, but it adds up. But you're right.
I was using presidential math.
It's an important clarification.
I'm sorry. I thought you said
But still,
16 I'm sorry. I thought you said 16 million a year.
No, present value.
Oh, all right. That sounded like a lot of money to me.
Okay,
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry.
They're building 7 million units of housing. It's going to bring back. It's late in the day, folks. So
that is
even so, the economic development. We could ask the mayor. I can imagine what it's going to do for his local community and the folks there. And I mean, and put Beacon on my map. I'm going to go check out Beacon.
Please do. I mean, it already looks good from, if everyone remembers from 10 years ago, it's going to be even better. And our interface with Metro North, it's going to be improved manyfold.
Melva.
Yeah, sorry. So I missed the 4 prongs. You talked about the annual revenue that we're getting. We're getting a redesigned train station, right? The developer will be redesigning the train station.
The plaza.
The plaza, okay. Replacement of parking.
Yes.
And what was the 4th?
265 units of housing.
Oh, okay. And
so
benefit.
Yep, the benefits, and there's some ridership that will come out of that too.
And can you just talk a little bit about our role in the selection process of the developer?
Sure. So typically we have a selection committee that includes representatives from transit-oriented development. We choose other departments. In this case, Metro North was heavily involved, in that process. We've had conversations with the city, repeatedly. They were not part of the selection process, but
interesting.
Yeah, but we talked to them, at least monthly, probably more.
So the 10% affordability wasn't. I mean, we said yes to that. It wasn't. Was there like a city requirement around affordability that we were adhering to? Sorry.
No. This is an excellent question. The affordability comes from typically the local jurisdiction, and right. If there is no jurisdiction, the state has a 10% mandate.
Right. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Let me just say 2 things. One, Dia Beacon is, as the mayor said, the centerpiece of the revitalization of Beacon. It's been an extraordinary change in the last 20 years. Dia was a relatively moribund place. In Dia, the art institution took over the Nabisco box factory and turned into a world-class art institution. If you haven't been, it's extraordinary and can be walked to from the station. The second thing I'll say is that TOD is something that there are many communities across both Long Island Railroad and Metro North that desperately could benefit by this very thoughtful movement. It is the way we keep young people and older people in this incredibly expensive state and region. It is a way to keep people so they can not have to have a car and take the train to work in the city or locally. And I highly recommend that every village, every city, every town look into TOD everywhere we have a station. So thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your vision, and thank you to the MTA for getting this done. May I have a motion to approve this, please?
I'll make a motion, just for the sake of the end of the day. They shall look to the bright beacon upon the Hudson to set an example for all of New York.
Father Herbst, can I have a amen? Thank you, sir. All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstention, motion passes. Thank you very much. Miriam, over to you. You don't look like Miriam.
No, Miriam's not here. Roberto
Okay,
is
then-
here for Miriam. I have two more action items.
Yes, sir.
One is from Metro North, and it's an agreement to acquire permanent and temporary easements from Palmer Center for the New Rochelle Yard in support of Penn Station access. And the last is for the Long Island Railroad. It's a license agreement with Jamaica Archer Market for use and occupancy of a parking lot in Jamaica. This is property we had acquired as part of the Jamaica control improvements, and we're licensing it back to the adjacent property owner until we need it for construction.
Okay, those incredibly quickly said statements for the New Rochelle Yard for Penn Station access and Jamaica Archer Market. May I have a motion for those two? Motion from Sammy, second. Herb's questions. Melva. Well, ask anything you want.
We acquired property adjacent to our right-of-way. We're undertaking a signal and signal and switch project in Jamaica.
Yes.
We're acquiring property immediately adjacent to the right-of-way. We acquired this property, right, from an adjacent property owner, and we're licensing it back to them for parking until we need the property.
I need for park. Okay, got it.
Yeah, right, for that business, free market.
Other questions, Melva? You seem like it seemed like you were unsatisfied. Okay. Sure? Yeah. All right. I have a question, though. Can you give us a status update on Penn Station access? I feel like I'm surprised there's yet another easement required at this point. I must not have a good sense in my head of the schedule. You don't have to answer that now. I'm not going to change my vote, but I would like to get a sense of where we are with the development of that, because I would have thought at this point we'd have it all in place.
Not entirely.
Okay.
It was a function of certain changes in design of the yard, right, which were finalized, and now we were given the green light to go acquire.
Understood.
And then we're also wrapping up our easements now with Amtrak. So we are moving at pace and following the project's lead, and project's moving along.
Great. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstention. Motion passes. Information item, David.
It's the monthly report on agreements entered into directly by the real estate department pursuant to board policy.
Is in our book?
It is.
It is in our book. Any questions on those? Okay, hearing none. Any new business for the committee?
Yes, we have, with our new CFO, I know I hate to ask her to make any expenditures, but you as the chair, I'm going to oversee her and come directly to you. Can we get her a new nameplate that drops the co?
Yeah.
Abso-effin-lutely. We're gonna. I believe one of the challenges of this. One of the challenges of this here. The problem with this here dual room system we're doing is we have hard plates for the good room, and we have paper plates for this room. So for now. Well recommended. This committee acts when people raise issues, and so hearing no other new business, we will act to adjourn. May I have a motion to adjourn? Thank. She can't. She actually can't because she's not a member of the committee. All right. Thank you very much. All right. All in favor? Aye. We'll see you next in 2 months. Take care. Bye bye.